Hi, this is Gloria. I'm the pink-haired investor realtor from Indianapolis, and I have Anastasia on with me today. And we're going to just do another part in our Meet the Investor series and just get to know some other investors and what they're doing in the Indianapolis area, and hopefully have some value to you. So, how are you today, Anastasia?
Good, Gloria. How are you? I
I'm
see you're
great.
still rocking that pink hair.
We're doing the pink hair thing. Yeah, it's always going to be some sort of color of the pink somehow. I don't think I can get away from it at this point. So, and Anastasia is already to the point where a lot of you want to be, where she was able to do a lot of traveling this summer. So she's already to that quote unquote financial freedom stage where she can do some of that too. So we'll learn a little bit more about that later. But tell us a little bit about why you got into real estate investing and just kind of what took you on this journey.
I think my story is a lot like other people's, where I started with how can I get my finances in order and how do I start to learn to invest in general. And so once I started kind of paying down my credit cards and reading about financial independence, I started to just consume content on the internet. I was hooked. I started listening to different podcasts, Afford Anything podcast by Paul Pant, Bigger Pockets. And my husband and I started thinking about what strategy is going to work for us, and where are we going to, which strategy will take us to our goals. So we just thought real estate would be the fastest way for us to kind of reach financial independence. So we started saving money, and then in June of 2019, we bought our first property, a duplex, for $40,000. Yes, you can't find this anymore. In Indianapolis, I'm sorry, new investors to Indy, those deals don't exist. Gloria, tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
You're
No, I can't find single families for under 60,000 right now. So yeah, duplexes, we're pushing the $100,000 mark.
Yeah, so we bought that all cash with our savings. We just kind of leaped in, even though we were learning, you don't really know until you start, right? I mean, probably good to start building those contacts, of course, but until you start, you don't know what contractors are going to be reliable. You don't know what you don't know. So we kind of jumped right in. We kind of divided up the roles. So my husband kind of managed the contractors. I kind of focused on the financing aspect, and we ended up burning that property. So that property that we bought for $40,000, it was a $20,000 in rehab, which actually is not that bad. Mm-hmm. At that time, it rented for $650 on each side. Now it rents for $750 on each side. In the future, it's probably that area keeps on going up. It'll probably rent for more than that. Our mortgage is only $620, and it rents now, like I said, for $1,500 total, nice. $750 on each side.
So did you refinance that one then?
And we did, yeah.
ARV?
So the ARV was 132. I do say that I will say that we waited a little bit. So it was about a year, mm-hmm. which I think worked in our favor because the market shot up. So we pulled out $92,000 and we were $60,000 all in.
Nice.
So yeah, so that was probably the best burr we did, and it was our first one, accidental, that it was our best, but I think we just kind of had some luck with the market. So after that, we did a couple more duplexes. We also purchased a single family home, and now we're kind of hoping to scale, looking into the mid-size multifamily arena, but also still, if you see a good burr and a good single family home deal or duplex, let's move forward with that as well.
So you've got a total of 3 duplexes, so 6 stores there and 1 single family?
Yes, in 2.5 years. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what you did with that first initial money, then you just rolled that and bought your next one? And did you do burr every time, or did you do different strategies on the different properties?
We did burr for 3 of them, and then one of them we just did delayed financing.
Okay. So
So
explain that to our newer investors, what
Yes.
delayed financing is.
So delayed financing is if you have a house where maybe you don't have a huge rehab, so you're not going to have this high after repair value ARV. Since you're not going to do a big rehab, maybe a BRRRR does not make sense. But if you want to stay competitive in today's market, you might have to pay cash for properties. So therefore, you can take advantage of delayed financing, where you do the financing still on the back end, but and pay cash for the property. So you get your money back, but maybe you're not getting all your money back. You're maybe just getting like your down payment back 20-25%, just like as if you were buying the property with a mortgage.
But then it just helps you by putting cash in. It makes you competitive with other multiple offers. So then how long did you wait until you did that delayed financing? Did you do it right away, or did you wait a few months?
And that is another benefit typically of delayed financing, is that you typically don't have a seasoning period like you traditionally have with the BRRRR. I do know some investors that have found lenders where there is no seasoning period, but most lenders I talk to, it's about 6 months that you have to wait for a traditional like cash out refinance.
Yep. So then on your BRRRRs, then did you wait those 6 months, or did you wait? I know that first one you said you waited a year. So on your other ones, did you wait that 6 months, or how did that work out?
We ended up like doing like 6 months to a year.
Okay.
So from initially like purchasing the property. Yeah.
Which a lot of people with the BRRRR method want to do it right away. And I honestly, I call it a modified BRRRR method, but I really think it works better, especially in our market where we've got a lot of jumps happening right now in certain neighborhoods. If you can wait that year or so, you're going to get so much more out of that instead of having to refinance it twice. So if you can wait and let it season a little bit, I honestly think it's better in some of the neighborhoods. So do you agree with that?
I agree. So for example, I think if we would have completed the refinance 6 months after, the ARV would have been about 80,000 versus waiting where the ARV was 132 when it was appraised.
Right. So tell me about some of the, okay, so first of all, we didn't say this, but Anastasia actually lives here in Indianapolis. So that is some of the advantage that she has to some of you out-of-state investors. So tell us some of the areas and the neighborhoods that you like and you're kind of researching.
Yeah, I think Gloria and I are both West Siders. Well, actually, let me say, I don't live on the West Side, but I love the West Side for investing. And if you know me as an investor, you know that about me. But we actually do have an East Side property too. Our first duplex is actually closer to Fountain Square on the East Side.
Okay.
Not quite Fountain Square, right? Everyone says that. Fountain Square.
Yes. Yeah, anything within 10 miles
English
of
and State Avenue. Yeah. English and State Avenue, which that area is really hot right now. Yeah. So I like the Hawthorne neighborhood, and I think I've told you that before. It has very affordable prices. It's right by Central.
Yeah, Hawthorne is near the zoo. Okay. So a lot of times I talk about my Stringtown Hawville area. So basically it's 16th to Washington, and then we go White River Parkway. I always mess up on that, to Tibbs. Okay. So Hawthorne is kind of a little bit towards the Tibbs Avenue, Washington and Tibbs area. Am I correct in that? Or is it the one that's closer to the zoo?
I think, yeah, it's close to Tibbs. So it's between West Washington and Michigan.
Right.
Is like where I look. And I have one that's, I guess it would be south of West Washington too. But I like Hawthorne because it's right by the Central State Complex.
Okay.
In the Central State Complex, if you're not from Indianapolis, it's all these new homes that are being built in the $300,000 to $350,000 range.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've noticed in the Hawthorne area is that people are starting to slowly renovate the houses in Hawthorne, and also trying to not charge $300,000 to $350,000, but they're starting to put houses on the market for $200,000.
Yeah.
So I just bought, well, a year, like during COVID, we bought a house for $37,000 there. And then we got a little lucky once again, but you know, when you're just looking and looking and looking, you know, you just sometimes find a deal. And that rents for $1,000, and we have a 2-year lease with those tenants.
And how much construction did you put into that one?
That was another 20,000.
Okay.
So that ARV, we refinanced that one right away in 6 months. We didn't do Gloria's modified burr, which we probably should have, but we wanted the cash. Sometimes you need the cash.
Right.
And that ARV was 85, but now I would say it's probably worth at least 100. And then if we did a nicer rehab, we could probably sell it for 150 to 200, but that's not our goal right now. We're all about the cash flow. But.
Yep. And I agree. So anytime anyone comes to town, if I drive you through the neighborhoods, I'm going to drive you exactly where she's saying, where you can see there's not only single family homes, there's apartment buildings, there's condos. They're all ranging 280 to 350. And you literally turn the corner and there's blocks and blocks of these little houses just waiting to be picked up and renovated. So I think that's an awesome area to do that strategy. So any other tips that you have for our new investors as they're just starting this journey?
Oh gosh, that's a great one. Just get started.
Yes. Yeah.
I know it's really scary, but get started and just start consuming content, you know. And one thing that I probably didn't do enough starting out was talking to more investors. I felt like I kind of stuck with, you know, our realtor at that time, who was an investor too. But now it's like I've met Gloria through Bigger Pockets. I've met other investors through Bigger Pockets, and they've like expanded my world so much. And I feel like the process has gone so much faster the more people that I talk to, because I hear more references about lenders, different strategies. It just keep building your tool kit and keep learning and just keep reaching out to people.
Yeah. And honestly, that's exactly what happened with Anastasia and I, because she really hasn't done any deals with me yet. We've got to get something together for her. But we met at a meetup in Indianapolis where, oddly enough, we both had done the Meet the Investor filming for the Bigger podcast. And we just started talking, and then we're like, oh, we have so much in common. And what about this? And what do you do about this? And we were chatting, and we were like the last ones there. And our husbands are like, can we just go? And Anastasia and I are just still talking. So we definitely have to get together again too.
Yeah. And Gloria even though we didn't buy it, Gloria did take us to a property, and she did do a backup offer because we were literally looking at it as I think the last offers had already been accepted, right. Or as you know, there was already multiple offers on the table, which is normal in today's market, right? It's like, if you don't see it the first day, it's sometimes gone, but it is what it is, right? We all learn to adapt, and
backup offers work sometimes. I've gotten like 3 or 4 in the last few months. Of the first one fell out, and every time I go past that little duplex, I'm like, oh, Anastasia could have had that. They are working on it now, so they're.
I bet, yeah.
It's an
Avon, so.
Yeah. That was a fixer-upper. The septic had failed, but didn't phase Anastasia at all. She saw the potential in it. So,
well, I mean, the offer was below mark. I mean, not the offer, but the
list price. The
asking price, was below the market. What it would be, you know, the market value. So I understood that.
So anyway, thanks for hopping on with us today, Anastasia. And like she said, network. And Anastasia you can pick up a phone and call her. I don't know if you want to put your information out here, or they can contact me and I can get it to you. But if you just want to pick someone else's brain on an area or a house, I'm sure that she would love to talk to you and kind of get you started.
Yeah, I have new investors reach out to me all the time on Bigger Pockets. In fact, I refer like people to Gloria because she's great. My phone number is 317-993-5584. Feel free to reach out with any questions. I have 7 units. Haven't been doing this for 10 years, but 2.5. And I remember what it's like to be a new investor.
Yeah. So. Nope, you're doing great. Thanks so much for taking the time today, Anastasia.
Yeah. Bye, Gloria.